Meet Dot. Dot is 36. He wears a green sweater, blue jeans, and clean white shoes. He is the picture of stability. He works in an office, stares at spreadsheets for 8 hours a day, and earns what society calls a good salary. He is, by all traditional metrics, doing everything right. But Dot is exhausted. Every morning, Dot wakes up to an alarm that feels like a physical assault. He commutes to a job he tolerates to pay for a life he's too tired to enjoy. He looks at his bank account and sees a bucket with 1,000 tiny holes. No matter how much water he pours in, no matter how many performance bonuses or cost of living adjustments he receives, the water level never rises. Dot is caught in the high-income poverty trap. He isn't poor because he lacks money. He is poor because his habits are designed for consumption, not accumulation. He is a high-functioning consumer unit, optimized by corporate marketing to spend exactly what he earns. He waits for the big event. He thinks wealth is a lottery win, a crypto spike, or a sudden inheritance from an uncle he never met. He's waiting for lightning to strike while standing in a rubber suit. Dot doesn't realize that wealth isn't an event. It's a boring, repetitive, and often invisible system. It's a machine. And right now, Dot's machine is built to manufacture stress, not freedom. We aren't here to give Dot a hug or tell him he's special. We're here to explain why his current operating system is obsolete. If you feel like Dot, running a marathon on a treadmill, it's time to stop running and look at the belt. Let's be blunt. The world wants you broke. The entire global economy is engineered to separate you from your capital as efficiently as possible. Your brain is legacy software running on hardware designed for the Stone Age. You are hardwired to seek status, sugar, and immediate gratification. In the modern world, those instincts are liabilities. Wealth is not a matter of luck. It is the statistical residue of specific systemic habits. If you want to escape the trap, you must override your factory settings. Habit 1. The aggressive information diet. The average person is a digital dumpster. You spend 4 hours a day consuming content that has zero ROI. You know the political opinions of actors. You know which celebrity is getting a divorce. You know the hot take of the day on social media. This is intellectual obesity. Statistical wealth builders practice aggressive ignorance. They realize that attention is their most valuable currency, and they refuse to spend it on garbage. Why are you reading breaking news when you haven't read a 10K filing or a technical manual in a year? Your brain has a limited bandwidth. If you fill it with the outrage of the week, you have no room left for systemic thinking. The habit isn't just learning, it's the violent filtration of useless noise. If the information doesn't help you build your specific machine, it is a distraction. Cut the cord. Habit 2. The boredom threshold. The deep work habit. We live in a dopamine-saturated society. Most people cannot sit in a room alone for 10 minutes without reaching for a digital pacifier. They are addicted to the new. Wealth, however, is built in the boredom zone. It is the ability to perform the same high-leverage task, analyzing data, refining a skill, building a system 1,000 times without needing a like notification or a great job from a manager. Psychological studies on delayed gratification, like the famous marshmallow test, aren't just for kids. They are the ultimate predictor of adult success. If you need constant novelty to stay engaged, you are a consumer. If you can tolerate the grueling boredom of mastery, you are a builder. The habit is simple. Can you work on one thing for 4 hours without checking your phone? If the answer is no, you've already lost. Habit 3. Radical internal locus of control. Most people have an external locus of control. They believe life happens to them. They blame the economy, the government, their boss, or their toxic upbringing for their financial stagnation. This is a comfort mechanism. If it's not your fault, you don't have to change. Systemic wealth builders operate with a radical internal locus. If they lose money, it's because their risk management system was flawed. If they are underpaid, it's because their market value is too low. They don't complain about the wind, they adjust the sails. Does blaming the Federal Reserve pay your rent? Does complaining about the system increase your dividend yield? No, it just makes you a victim. Radical responsibility is the habit of treating every failure as a data point for system optimization. Habit 4. The frictionless automation system. Willpower is a myth. If you have to decide to save money every month, you will eventually fail. You'll have a bad day at the office, you'll see a sale on a new TV, you'll convince yourself that you deserve a luxury vacation because you've been working so hard. The wealthy don't rely on discipline, they rely on architecture. They use the habit of frictionless automation. The money is diverted into investment accounts and emergency funds before it ever touches their spending account. They remove the human element entirely. They treat their savings like a tax, mandatory and non-negotiable. If you are waiting until the end of the month to see what's left to save, you are practicing poverty logic. The machine must be automated. The goal is to make being smart the path of least resistance. Habit 5. Asymmetric risk management. Most people are gamblers masquerading as investors. They want the moonshot. They want the 100x return. They are looking for a miracle to save them from their lack of a system. Systemic wealth is built on asymmetric risk, situations where the downside is capped and the upside is significant. They prioritize capital preservation over massive gains. Why? Because the math of loss is brutal. If you lose 50% of your portfolio, you need a 100% gain just to get back to where you started. The habit is the constant cynical questioning of the downside. How can I lose is a much more important question than how much can I make. The millionaire machine isn't built on being right 100% of the time. It's built on not being wiped out when you're wrong. Habit 6. Social decoupling. The ego tax. The greatest hidden cost in your budget is your ego. Most people spend money they don't have on things they don't need to impress people they don't even like. This is social signaling. It is a biological drive to appear high status. In the 21st century, it is a suicide pact for your bank account. Social decoupling is the habit of disconnecting your self-worth from your visible consumption. Can you drive a 10-year-old car while your peers lease the latest German sedan? Can you wear a basic green sweater while others are draped in logos? If your neighbors think you're doing okay while your balance sheet says you're wealthy, you've won. If your neighbors think you're rich while you're one missed paycheck away from insolvency, you're just a high-paid actor in a tragedy. Let's go back to Dot. Dot didn't find a secret stock tip. He didn't quit his job to become a lifestyle influencer. He didn't find a shortcut. He just changed his habits. He stopped the digital noise. He turned off the news and started reading about logistics and compounding interest. He sat in his green sweater for 2 hours every night, focused on building a side system, ignoring the itch to check his phone. He automated his finances. The moment his paycheck hit, the machine took its cut. He stopped looking at what his coworkers were buying. When they showed off their new watches, Dot looked at his spreadsheet and saw his freedom date moving closer. 5 years later, Dot is still in that office. He still wears the same green sweater. But there is a fundamental difference. Dot is no longer a consumer unit. He is a capital owner. When the market took a downturn and his coworkers were panicking in the break room, Dot was calm. His system was built for volatility. When the company announced layoffs, Dot didn't feel a pit in his stomach. He had an FU fund that could sustain him for 2 years. Dot didn't get lucky. He stopped being a casualty of his own biology. He realized that the high-income poverty trap is a choice. He chose to build a machine rather than be a cog in someone else's. The question isn't whether the system works. The math of compounding interest in disciplined habits is ironclad. The question is whether you have the stomach for the boredom, the discipline for the automation, and the ego strength to look average while you become statistically significant. Wealth isn't about what you buy, it's about what you own. And the first thing you must own is your behavior. The machine is waiting. Are you going to build it, or are you going to keep pouring water into a leaky bucket? If you found this blunt reality check more useful than a manifestation video, like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm find more people who are tired of the fluff. Leave a comment below. Which of these 6 habits is your weakest link? Let's talk about the system.